I think my favorite line is, "Who killed my sister? Was it you?"
It's the best fairy tale ever told.
I had a hat on that looked like a flower pot, and they nicknamed me the Flower Pot Girl.
They had never made a tin suit before. They'd never made up anybody as a tin man.
To me, the favorite part is listening to Judy sing.
My father was the lion, and dandelion he was.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
You know what Miss Ghost said she was going to do to Toto? She says she was going to...
Now, Dorothy, dear, stop imagining things. You always get yourself into a fret over nothing. Now, you just help us out today and find yourself a place where you won't get into any trouble.
Some place where there isn't any trouble.
The Wizard of Oz is, I think, still one of the most successful movies of all time. So a cult movie in some way, it's a cult movie to me. I'm a member of the cult, but so's everybody. So it's a very wide cult. It's the most mainstream cult of all.
Toto, darling. Oh, I got you back. You came back. Oh, I'm so glad.
The MGM film, other than the fact that it is ultimately revealed as being a child's dream, is a relatively faithful adaptation of the book, and I think that the movie did a good job of synthesizing those episodes into a 3-act structure. The characters in the movie, of course, start in Kansas and go to Oz and have dual roles.
Are you all right, Dorothy?
Yes, I'm all right. Oh, I fell in and see... Why, see, you're just as scared as I am. Why, you're nothing but a great big coward.
You're right, I am a coward. I haven't any courage at all. I even scare myself.
But in the book, she literally goes to Oz in the tornado and is sent back at the end. The movie goes a little beyond the somewhat simplistic, there's no place like home, and not to minimize that sentiment, which I think is a very genuine and very sound one, but one of the lasting appeals of the movie is that it is about a search for identity, or in the case of this movie, a search for a series of identities.
And who might you be? No, now, don't tell me. Let's see, you're traveling in disguise. No, that's not right. You're going on a visit. No, I'm wrong. That's right away. You're running away.
How did you guess?
Professor Marvel never guesses. He knows.
The Wizard of Oz cannot be taken out of context with the period in which it was made, 38, a world war looming. So you have this cyclone approaching into the depressed world of Kansas. It is in depression, black and white. You go to Oz. You have a fascistic witch with her soldiers.
That's right. Don't hurt them right away. We'll let them think about it a little first.
Years later, I saw a cartoon that was done in Utica, the Utica Dispatch, just after the movie opened. And it had Hitler in the witch's outfit, and England was the lion, and it used the exact metaphor. I mean, as an adult, I understood that. As a child, I was just into the feelings. But Wizard of Oz had this prophetic and positive outcome, which is they killed the witch. They brought home the broom.
We've done what you told us. We brought you the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West.
The MGM film is state-of-the-art special effects, particularly matte painting, which was brilliantly done throughout the film. The Emerald City painting, for example, had little holes, little pinpoint holes that they could light from behind so that it would appear to glow.
It's beautiful.
I was, I think, about 5, and it was, they were bringing it back. And the thing that I remember most about the movie was when it went from black and white to color.
There's very clever uses of things that had never been done before. The transition from the black and white sepia sequence to Oz, for example. They had to have a double, a stand-in, who was in a sepia-tinted dress to go in, open the door, and if you'll notice, she completely goes out of frame. her place immediately taken by Judy Garland in her Technicolor dress as she walks into Munchkinland.
We went on the set with our costumes and everything. Oh, it was just beautiful. I mean, we saw this yellow brick road, and we saw all the beautiful flowers, and we saw all the little Munchkin houses sitting up there, and we went through them, and we saw the little brook that was going by the bridge.
The duck pond, of course, was in the background of where the Good Witch appeared, and originally the little duck pond had a group of little ducklings in it. And what they did to make it look like a real pond, they had put in a bottle of bluing. But unfortunately, the little ducklings absorbed the bluing. So they had to take out the ducklings, dry out the pond, and then they painted the bottom of the pond blue and had someone off camera with a paddle making the waves on it, as you see in the picture.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
My first thoughts of the set that Munchkinland was in was humongous, very, very large. I guess what amazed me more than anything else is all of the power cards running around on the floor.
It was beautiful. All the flowers looked so beautiful, breathtaking. I was wondering how far the yellow brick road went. The road looked like it went 200 miles away, and I noticed it went up to about 150 feet and went up the wall.
The director told one of the prop men to take all of us in to the different studios, and so here we go into this one studio, and here's beautiful fruit trees.
Oh, apples!
I motioned to my roommate. I says, you know, that darn tree made a face at me. He says, you're crazy. There's no such a thing as that.
Ouch!
What do you think you're doing?
We've been walking a long ways, and I was hungry, and... Did you say something?
She was hungry.
She was hungry!
Pretty soon he apologized. He says, I saw the same thing.
Oh, dear. I keep forgetting I'm not in Kansas.
I'm the only child in the audience that always wondered why Dorothy ever wanted to go back to Kansas. Why would she want to go back to Kansas in this dreary black and white farm with an aunt who dressed badly and seemed mean to me?
And then just listen to what Miss Gulch did to Toto. Dorothy, please, we're trying to count.
When she could live with magic shoes, winged monkeys, and gay lions. I never understood it.
Put 'em up, put 'em up!
As coroner, I must aver, I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Meinhardt Robbie was the coroner Munchkin who pronounces the Wicked Witch dead. It's funny because Meinhardt, for years and years, for 50 years, thought that that was his voice. Run through some sort of equipment, sound equipment. But actually, those voices, for the most part, were dubbed by someone else.
As coroner, I must aver, I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Only two little people actually have lines in the movie, and it's their actual voice. And it's the two little guys that come with flowers, and they present them to Dorothy when she's sitting in the little carriage.
We thank you very sweetly for doing it so neatly. You've killed us so completely that we thank you very sweetly.
Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead.
The process that they used was unique at the time, which was recording it slower and playing it back at normal. And it raised the pitch of the voice, gave it a cute tone.
The house began to pitch, and the kitchen took a stitch. It landed on the wicked witch in the middle of a ditch. What a healthy situation for the wicked witch.
I think that's what people remember most about that movie. The Munchkins had such great voices.
In the beginning, they gave us a sheet of paper, and they had all the wording on it, you know, Munchkin this and that and so forth. And we would sit there and rehearse and sing the songs and rehearse our parts and so forth. And then I guess that took about a week. And then after we got that down, we went on to another set, and a lady, Donna Mason, I never will forget her name, sweet as she could be. And she taught us our dance step.
I don't mean to take any pleasure, but when a dance director says, Donna, you do something like a skip, and you try to do something half decent, they like it, you assume that you did it, you know? It wasn't anything difficult, but it seemed to be something that's remembered from the picture.
Donna Mason said she had a devil of a time teaching it to Bert Lahr. And what I liked about it is she described it so beautifully. She said that Bert Lahr was so beautifully clumsy, but she loved him for it. And I can see him being that way. Not really a dancer at heart, and just getting by with the steps, but doing it comically in such a funny way that it worked.
Yeah, it's sad, believe me, missy, when you're born to be a sissy without the vim and vibe. But I could show my prowess, be a lion, not a mouse, if I only had the nerve.
In 1939, Bert Lahr's shtick is right out of vaudeville. Today, we don't really have a first-hand knowledge of vaudeville that an audience would have had then.
Take him away! Take him away!
One of the most wonderful things to know about my father is that he was a Leo. Somehow, of course, he was a Leo. That's one of the, certainly a secret to know about Dad. And there are many things to know about him. He was shy, that he was serious. He had a great sense of humor, but he didn't show it all the time because he was a quiet, shy person and a man of few words.
I'd command each thing, be it fish or fowl, with a woof and a woof and a royal growl.
I always thought at the end when Dorothy kissed the Scarecrow and said, "I'll miss you the most," I always thought that was the one thing. I said, no, you're going to miss the lion the most. He was so adorable.
Goodbye, Lion. You know, I know it isn't right, but I'm going to miss the way you used to holler for help before you found your courage.
I would never have found it if it hadn't been for you.
Y tus trailers. Visita mi canal.
I think I'll miss you most of all.
I never really liked that she was playing favorites. And then years later, as I learned more about the making of the movie, that line is actually a holdover to a subplot that had been jettisoned very early on in the script process, in which, in the Kansas segment, the Ray Bolger and Judy Garland, the Hunk and Dorothy characters, were supposedly having an innocent romance.
Oh, Hunk, you just won't listen, that's all.
Well, your head ain't made of straw, you know.
So that was the connection that led to that final line, but of course, that material was never shot.
I was at MGM, and one day Arthur Freed came into the rehearsal hall, said, "Meet your new partner," and there was Judy Garland. And they didn't know what to do with her, but they kept Judy under contract. And they said, well, why not give Judy a chance? And they gave her a chance, and she ran with it and became a superstar.
One of the lasting appeals is that she was able to project that vulnerability and that innocence that makes you want to care about her.
Dorothy! Dorothy! Where are you? It's me. It's Auntie M. We're trying to find you. Where are you?
I'm here in Oz, Annie M. I'm locked up in the witch's castle, and I'm trying to get home to you, Annie M.
The thing that I remember more than anything, she got a bigger kick out of meeting us than we did out of meeting her.
But if you please, what are Munchkins?
The little people who live in this land, it's Munchkinland, and you are their national heroine, my dear. It's all right. You may all come out and thank her. Come out, wherever you are.
Judy Garland was very interested in their lives and where the little ladies would get their specially made tiny shoes and things like that. And they would ask her about working with Clark Gable and stars that she knew there at MGM.
People ask us about Judy Garland, what was Judy Garland like? And we've always said that she was a 16-year-old girl. And there's a vast difference between the girls that long ago and the young people now, I think.
Although she was a very top-notch singer, she was still a teenager at heart. And when she'd come on the set, she'd say, "Hi, gang."
Judy was such a lovely teenager, sweet as she could be. And that Christmas, the MGM studio gave Judy her own private dressing room on wheels. And she was so excited, she just jumped with joy. And she invited each and every one of us Munchkins to go through and see her dressing room.
The costumes were designed by Adrian. They were designed for each individual. As far as I can remember, mine was like a tan with green. The hat came up to a point, the bodice was laced, and the skirt was full, and we probably had like a petticoat underneath.
This is a section of a pinafore from one of Judy Garland's film-used pinafores. What's interesting about the blue and white gingham and the blouse is that they're over-dyed with a pink bath. In Technicolor, that photographed nice as whites and cut down on the glare of the blue. Here's one of Judy Garland's blouses used in the film. She had a number of blouses, probably up to 10, since they had to be changed every day, and she wore the same costume through the entire film. This one has her name in it with a wardrobe number, and also it says number 1 on this little tag, making it her number 1 blouse.
Jerry Marin's costume, I believe, was probably bought off the rack at the MGM auction in the 70s for maybe a couple of dollars. I bought it at auction about 5 or 6 years ago, and I paid much more than $1 for it.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, and in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we wish to welcome you to Munchkinland.
It's one of the most complete surviving costumes that come from the film. It's his booties, it's his stockings. His name is sewn into every little piece of fabric. He was obviously a favorite Munchkin of the assistant director who was ever placing the Munchkins in these scenes, because he's all over the place. He doesn't have just one position.
You can spot Jerry Marin in one scene, and they'll cut to a crowd scene, and there he is in front. And there's certainly no way for him to get back and forth in that amount of time. So what they were doing is just lumping a lot of the little people in one scene and then regrouping them for another view of Munchkinland.
My, people come and go so quickly here.
I had what they call a skull cap. You know, that thing they use on people to make them look bald, and it was awful. All the glue, oh man. They made it look flesh color, then they put a wig on top of it.
The women didn't have as much makeup as the men did. The men had more makeup, and they were complaining they had to go in a lot earlier in the morning to get all made up.
In the morning when we would go on the set, our first stop was the makeup room. And we had to go into chairs. I called them musical chairs, because we'd get in one chair and we'd have someone putting some of our makeup on, and then they'd put the hair curlers in our hair.
The chief makeup man, Jack Dawn, did the first makeup for each individual Munchkin on the basis of what part they were going to play. And then they took a still picture, and that was put in the file, so that every day we came in, they would take that picture out of the file, and the assistant makeup man would do the same makeup every day we came on board.
Here's the Wizard of Oz set.
Visita mi canal.
And who is this? Ray Bolger, who will play the straw man. Bert Lauer, who is to be the cowardly lion. And Buddy Ebsen, the Tin Man.
What they used for makeup was aluminum dust. And first they put on grease paint that would hold the aluminum dust and powdered my face with aluminum dust. Well, it creates a cloud of aluminum dust in the air, and you're going to breathe some of that stuff. At the end of 10 days, I had breathed so much of it, it choked off the oxygen, and I yelled for help. They took me to the hospital, and I spent 6 weeks there under an oxygen tent. And they got somebody else to play the part.
I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boy who shoots the arrows if I only had a heart.
The merchandising really was a boom for The Wizard of Oz. Originally, in 1939, they put out a ton of merchandise based on the characters, but they were only following along with history because from the conception of these characters from L. Frank Baum, he attempted to merchandise these in any way that he could. So there's a lot of merchandise prior to the movie, and there's certainly a lot of merchandise that has been produced since the movie.
MGM extensively merchandised The Wizard of Oz, but in '39, movies really only played first-run engagements for maybe 1, maybe 2 weeks. So most of this material was available for a very limited amount of time, which is what makes this kind of material so highly collectible. Probably the dolls were available for the longest period of time because they tended to be put into catalogs, like the Sears catalog.
Wizard of Oz was MGM's first endeavor into merchandising of a title. Before that, just Disney had done it. So MGM was quite new at it, and one of the major licenses they had was with Ideal Toy Company to produce dolls. And this is the Judy Garland Dorothy doll that came out for Christmas 1939. And it was made in 3 different sizes, and there were a number of variants in the costumes and hairstyles. Occasionally you'll find one with red shoes, but they used the shoes they had in stock. Most of them were for the Shirley Temple doll, and this doll was made with the same body, so they basically just used their stock shoes.
MGM, like every studio, after the movie was over, they were on to making the next movie. At the time they would make and release a movie a week. So a lot of this material ended up being reused.
Look, let it speak, pals.
In the prince's horoscope, I find but one omen of danger. He must beware of a wild boar.
The Wizard of Oz will be around in 100 years because most of us were brought up on The Wizard of Oz and first experienced it as a child. So having that little reunion with The Wizard of Oz and with all the characters is still a pleasant thing, no matter how many times you see it.
Someday they're going to erect a statue to me in this town.
Well, don't start posing for it now.
One of the biggest misconceptions was that the movie wasn't popular on its initial release, that it was a flop, which it wasn't. The film was very much embraced by audiences in 1939, but it did take another 10 years till the second theatrical release, which was in 1949, for the movie to turn a profit.
It would be suicide to make The Wizard of Oz today, as we know from every remake and every Broadway play they tried to do of it. I don't know who I would cast today. All unknowns, I think, would be the only possible way to ever do it. I think it would be a cinematically incorrect idea to ever make it. The movies you should remake are the bad ones, not the good ones. It's actually blasphemy to try to remake that movie, and I would root for the failure of any production that tried to do so in any form.
Everyone is always so happy to see the Munchkins, and you get this wonderful feeling in it. I think it keeps all of us alive.
I speak to a lot of schools, high schools. This is 20 years ago when it first started. And they ask me the first thing, what's Dorothy doing now?
Tráilers. Visita
Not
mi
Judy
canal.
Garland. Then the next question is, where's Toto now? They don't know these people are dead like it was made today. The story was made and never died.
It was really fantastic. Actually, I never thought that the movie was gonna last as long as it has.
Sometimes it makes me cry, brings tears to my eyes to see the looks of the children and how excited they are.
The most memorable part of the movie, which accounts for its present popularity, is the fact there's no place like home.
I think it was a wonderful movie. It has such a meaning to it. And I am just honored and blessed to be in the movie. And so grateful that it has went on and on the way it has. And there'll never be another one like it.
Everything came out perfect. And I said they took a lot of time, but now I realize that taking the time, they did it right.
In 1938, the MGM film studio covers a massive 180 acres. It's a small city, and it's ruled by Louis B. Mayer, a man known for his unrelenting quest to make MGM the biggest and best film studio in the world.
The Wizard of Oz is a unique entity. As great as those MGM musicals were, it's a step beyond.
It was very carefully thought out. It was incredibly ingenious in the way that they put it together.
That's a landmark achievement. That is an absolute landmark achievement.
But even for MGM, The Wizard of Oz was a monumental gamble.